Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday. I'm Scott Trolla. I know I ran a little bit behind today, and I do apologize. I know I didn't get to do my early games pregame show or the late game ones because I've had just an exhausting weekend. And so what I will do, we will do the Sunday Night Football pregame show. We'll go over all the early games and the late games. So we'll do it as a combination post-game and recap show we'll just do. And but before we get to any of that, here is today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday trivia question. What player led the NFL with 27 rushing touchdowns in 2003? I will have the answer later in the broadcast. Well, it's been another whirlwind week of football in Week 15 of the NFL regular season. For some teams, a win was crucial, and for other teams, it was a win was for pride. So many teams are playoff contenders right now, and are also in the wild card hunt as well. And the Browns are very much alive in the playoff hunt for the wild card spot, with a big 1-point win over the Broncos last night, and we'll get to that in just a moment. And we had a few upsets. Most wins were expected. We're going to get to all the scores right now, starting with the game from Thursday night, the final Thursday night game for this season. The LA Chargers came back from 14 points down and to beat the Kansas City Chiefs 29-28. Boy, what a night for Mike Williams. 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. Oh, and then the Chargers clinch a playoff berth for the first time since 2013. Boy, you got to tip your hat to the Chargers. And Phil Rivers and Mike Williams both got game balls, yes. Now one from Saturday, and that was at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City Thursday. From Saturday, the Houston Texans, from yesterday, Houston Texans beat the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium in New York, 29-22. And Deshaun Watson got the game ball for that one. And well, the Jets just tried to battle back, and they just could not get the win. They come up short. So I got to tell you, but this was a good game between the Texans and the Jets. And Houston just, I thought, had the edge in this one. The Cleveland Browns, as I mentioned, beat the Denver Broncos in at Sports Authority Field in Denver, Colorado, 17-16 last night. This was the first time that the Browns have gotten a road win since Week 5 of the 1990 NFL football season, and it was a big win. And Baker Mayfield got the game ball, and also Nick Chubb got a game ball, and also Jarvis Landry. Wasn't the greatest game, but Baker Mayfield had an all-right game. It wasn't the greatest game, but it was enough for us to get the win. So we're very much alive in the playoff hunt. And the Browns need to win these last 2 games to win out the last 2. Which is they will be playing the Cincinnati Bengals at home next week at First Energy Stadium in the final home game of the regular season. Which, speaking of that, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Oakland Raiders today, 30-16 at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. And for the Bengals, it's going to take a miracle for them to make the playoffs. For the Raiders, their season is over, but Cincinnati just had this game from the start. The Atlanta Falcons, beat the Arizona Cardinals 40-14 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And Arizona, they led in the early going, but the Falcons just had this game from after that. The Falcons just took over and just dominated this game. So the Minnesota Vikings beat the Miami Dolphins 41-17 at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Minnesota, they just dominated this game from the get-go. they just dominated this game. And I mean, Miami, they led a couple of times, but basically this season is, I think, basically over. I mean, why did they play this game? Because they just got manhandled today in Minneapolis. Well, the Indianapolis Colts shut out and walloped the Dallas Cowboys at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, 23-0. Dallas didn't even stand a chance in this one, and they just looked horrendous in this game today. And boy, did they look horrendous. But Indianapolis, they just had this game from the start, and they never let up. The Baltimore Ravens beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, 20-12. Lamar Jackson had one fumble, but then basically they just got back on track and they just won this game. So, the Buffalo Bills beat the Detroit Lions 14-13 by 1 at Ralph Wilson Stadium in Buffalo. Both Baltimore goes to 5-9, Detroit falls to 5-9. But for both teams, mainly, it's going to take a miracle. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, so we'll see. Both teams have had a rough season. The Chicago Bears beat the Green Bay Packers in Soldier Field in Chicago, 24-17, and the Chicago Bears clinched their first NFC North Division title since 2011. And Green Bay, they played a great game, but just fell short, could not battle back. The Jacksonville Jaguars fell to the Washington Redskins at Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, 16-13. Jacksonville they had a chance and they just could not capitalize on it. So, and Jacksonville just has gone down since they started off strong and then they've fallen to pieces. Excuse me. Now for the 4 o'clock, actually there was one more 1 o'clock game. Excuse me. The New York Giants got shut out by the Tennessee Titans at MetLife Stadium in New York, 17-0. The Giants just didn't even stand a chance in this one, and I mean that season's basically over. For your late 4 o'clock games, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we know need to lose 3 games for the Browns to make the playoffs, they did not lose today. They beat the New England Patriots 17-10. 2 back-to-back December losses for the New England Patriots since December of 2003. Not a good game, not good for New England, but I mean they come up short, but they lose by a touchdown. So the the San Francisco 49ers upset the Seattle Seahawks in overtime. They beat them 26-23. Oh, this game came down to the wire, winning in overtime, and the 49ers just prevailed in this one. That's all your early and late games. Now we'll get to the previewing the Sunday night game in just a moment, and tomorrow's Monday night game. We'll get to that. But first, it's now time for the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. What player held the NFL with 27 rushing touchdowns in 2003? If you said Priest Holmes, you are correct. In 2003, Priest Holmes played a vital role in the Kansas City Chiefs' 9-0 start and franchise best 13-3 season as he set a new NFL record with 27 touchdowns. I'll have another trivia question tomorrow night on my Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football pregame show. So stay tuned for that. Now, before we get to the Sunday Night Football game, I want to do the picks of the week. Now, you know I lost with the KC one Thursday night, so did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle, and I won with Houston because they won. I lost with the Browns. My brother-in-law had taken the Browns, and I felt Minnesota had the edge in today's game, and Cincinnati and Baltimore and Indianapolis, also Buffalo and Chicago, and I won on all those. Lost my Giants one because they got shut out because I only took them because they were playing at home. Felt that Jacksonville was going to win, but they lost today. won in Atlanta because I thought Atlanta had the edge. I thought Seattle was going to have the edge in their game against 49ers, but it did not go that way. I lost on that one, and I lost on New England as well. So my brother-in-law and I, we're tied right now at 8 and 6. We both agree on the last two. I feel the Rams, and we both feel the Rams have the edge in tonight's game, and they are up 7-3 in the second quarter. I think it was 13:39 to go. And the Saints, we both feel the Saints and the Panthers have the edge in tomorrow night's game. So we'll see what happens. Now the Rams are playing at home at LA Memorial Coliseum against the Philadelphia Eagles tonight, and they're up 7-3 with 13:39 to go in the second quarter of the first half. And I feel the Rams have the edge in this game, and I feel they're going to get the win. And I just feel the Eagles, they have a chance if they want to win. They've got to stop the Rams quarterback and their defense and offense as well. And I feel they have a chance, but I don't think it's going to go the Eagles' way. I think the Rams are going to win this one tonight. Tomorrow's Monday Night Football game. The New Orleans Saints will take on the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Carolina. And I feel the Saints have the edge on that one, even though they're playing in Carolina, because I think the Saints are really going to dominate that game early, but we'll see. And for the Panthers, they've got to stop the Saints quarterback, Drew Brees, as well. And for the Saints, they've got to stop Cam Newton. And so we'll see what happens tomorrow night. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 NFL football Sunday post-game and Sunday Night Football pregame show. I'll have the Sunday Night post-game show when the LA Rams Philadelphia Eagles game is concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.